and I are working here today.
Before we start, any one of you who know any interior designers, please tell them this. Alright, we put in a lot of effort to pull this off. This is the second year in the running. The first year, the winner, I brought them to Sweden to visit Volvo's design center. They get an amazing experience. This round is even crazier because you're not just participating in the design challenge, they will actually get actual contracts to build out what they design, and it's not just one unit. Alright, it is a multiple unit that the developer will be selling to home buyers, and Malaysian home buyers get to vote which design they prefer to be in their condo, and then you can buy it. Alright, and of course the project is in a premium township, and then the price that you pay, even though I cannot reveal it now, let's just say that the installments is about that of a, let's just say if your household income or your combined income or your own personal salary is about 4,000 or even slightly less than that, you can apply for the loan for this house. It's in a premium township. Okay, so please, any one of you who are interior designers, click the link below. This is a very, very exciting interior design challenge where you make yourself famous, and if you win, you get the project, a few 100,000 ringgit worth of project, and in total there are more than 4 million worth of project contracts to be given away. And if you won, you also get to drive a Volvo for half a year. Yep, half a year. Cheers. Hi guys, 1 AM. Finally I have time to do my Q&A. Before I go on, remember, while you're watching this video, tonight 8 PM Malaysian time, 23rd of May. I know it's first day of Raya. First of all, to all who are celebrating Hari Raya, Selamat Hari Raya. Wish you all a blessed Raya. And for those of you who aren't able to return to your hometown, do know that all of us Malaysians are with you guys. Selamat Hari Raya. And next year will be better. And in fact, I think if you're so used to going back every year, and this year would greatly make everybody appreciate each other, I guess. Times like this is when people like us learn how to appreciate and cherish what we have, right? And I think that's the beautiful spirit of the whole Ramadan thing, and then Raya, of which every Muslim observe, is that the teaching is to let people understand and cherish what they have, right? All right, let's go through the comments and the Q&A. If you have a car buying Q&A, do come to me anytime. I'll do my best to answer each and everybody, so long as it shows up on my screen. Sometimes you don't know whether some comments will be missed out. All right. First of all, Mr. Timothy, hi Bobby, can you please do a video review of the Rav4 hybrid, CRV hybrid, and the Lexus 450 hybrid? And I guess you're not Malaysian, because I'm so sorry, we don't get these cars here. So in Malaysia, if they are not locally assembling the hybrids, chances are we won't be able to see it, because car prices are high in Malaysia. Of course, not as high as Singapore, but because there's the differentiation of locally assembled cars and non-locally assembled cars, they are subjected to very different price brackets, tax brackets. So it artificially changes the price perspective of Malaysians. Say for example, Malaysians have grown to expect hybrid cars to be cheaper, but actually in actual fact in global markets, hybrid cars are more expensive, right? um, let's say a BMW 330e, right? We have come to expect the 330e to be more affordable than the 330i, but in global markets the 330e is closer to the 340i. So if it is not locally assembled, no chance. Alright, and I know hybrids are for fuel saving and all that, but because prices of petrol in Malaysia is so cheap that it just doesn't make sense to pay more to buy a hybrid to try and save fuel. Alright, so I'm sorry I wasn't able to do the review that you request. Okay, second question, Kevin Anthony. He was asking if there is swapping out the infotainment unit on the Corolla with the reverse cam and the 360 view work. Actually, it will work. Why? Because every infotainment screen or player has inputs, right? So if you have your other auxiliaries that are plugged in to show you, it should work. Of course, get it done with a proper shop who knows what they're doing. Alright, so I'll give you an example. Like my previous Audi, the 2009 S4, I have an infotainment screen with the Audi MMI system and all that. So when I was contemplating to change to that DMP car design Android player, I was rather skeptical with the fact that I'm gonna take out my MMI. What about all my in-car systems and all that? Then only I realized that they are only taking out the screen, not the ECUs and all that. Those things still plug into the new screen, but the new Android screen itself is a tablet. So instead of so we're taking out a dumb screen, basically a screen that is just a screen from Audi, the LCD screen, which is dumb. There's no processor, there's nothing in there, it's just a screen. We took that out and then replaced with an Android tablet that has inputs to display your MMI system, to display whatever that is originally available in the car into being displayed through that screen, while at the same time has that Android overlay, and we're able to swap. So I don't see a problem with that. Alright, okay, next comment. Hi Bobby, is it worth it to buy a new Volvo S90 T5 now, since it is in the market since 2017? I'm a petrol guy and I won't consider the T8. I'm looking for a reliable and fun to drive car. Not sure after 8 or 9 years will I have any issue of getting Volvo spare parts and all that. I don't think you'll have issues getting a Volvo spare part as long as the dealer is available here. And while their accessories are expensive, I don't think their parts are exceptionally expensive compared to the other German makes. They are more or less comparable. Buying a new S90 T5, I don't think they still bring in the new S90 T5. And I think the S90 is of exceptional value because they're giving huge discounts to clear it off. It hasn't been too successful in the market compared to the 5 Series and E-Class. Basically, it got slaughtered by the 5 Series and E-Class in terms of sales. So you can get some pretty good deals with the S90 T5, and it's rather nicely spec'd in a way because of the safety systems and all that. So yeah, you can go ahead. It drives really well. It drives better than the A6. I mean, when it came out, the A6 is still the C6 generation, right? It drives better than that. And I love the Volvo infotainment system and the adaptive cruise control. Basically, the pilot assist is fantastic. I once drove to Singapore and I jammed for 8 hours. We were crawling in the traffic for 8 hours, barely exceeding 20 km/h. 99% of the journey was done by the car because Volvo's adaptive cruise control if you are below a certain speed, I think it's below 20 or below 15, about there, it doesn't require you to hold the steering wheel. So it would treat it as a traffic jam assist. So you don't have to hold the steering wheel, the car will just crawl following the distance from the car in front and then following the lane markers, that's it. So and the car just literally drives itself all the way to the customs immigration. And I remember when I was there, I stepped out of my car and what did I do? Oh, it was my first time driving that Volvo in, so I have to do the, apply that auto pass thingy. And I remember seeing other people that were so frustrated, so stressed, while I'm so chill, because while my car was crawling itself, I'm like turning to the side, talking to my father, talking to my grandma, my late grandma, and I do some illegal things with my phone that time, because the car is just literally driving itself. But of course, I keep an eye all the time. Yeah, lovely feature. Okay, Mr. Chew. Hi Bobby, hope you answer my question. Yes, I am answering your question. My question is that I have a budget of 100,000 ringgit. I'm choosing between these two cars, a 2014 Mercedes A180 and then or a Vios 1.5, a full spec Vios, which is better. Now, if I were to compare both cars strictly in terms of using my left brain, that means nothing from my right brain, nothing emotional, nothing, right? The Vios will be more comfortable, it will be more spacious, it handles better, it will be more fuel efficient. But it's not a Mercedes. It's not the car in your heart, right? So I can see from your question, you said that maintenance, I know the Vios will be cheaper, a lot cheaper, a lot cheaper. I'm comparing dealer to dealer, Mercedes servicing cost is Mercedes servicing cost can shock a BMW owner. Yeah, yeah. They charge their prices, but of course they provide good service. Um, well, um, and you said felt sexy when driving the A180, just worrying about the maintenance and those common problems. I don't think the A180 has any big issues that you should be worrying about. And I kind of felt that for your budget of 100,000 ringgit, you can get not you don't have to get a 2014 A class. I am pretty sure the prices shouldn't be there anymore. This car cannot be that high a value. Alright, so you see, immediately I'm looking at a 2015 Mercedes-Benz A250 at about 100k. So please do not go for the A180. The specs are horrible. The car is rather kosong. You should go for A250 or A200. See, A250 Sports AMG 2-liter turbo, 109,000. You can nego it to 100k and just tell the dealer 100k, I'll take it or leave it. You know, it's a buyer's market now. And this is also 2014. It's 2 rungs higher. Your A180, that's A200 and A250. Go for the A250 for your budget, and then A250 will be a very sporty drive. Alright, yeah, so my conclusion is don't buy the A180 because you can nego better for your budget. Alright, I know it's a car that you dreamed of. Go for it. You feel happier, even though by every measurable comparison, the Vios will be really good, except that it's not a Mercedes-Benz, right? When you look back at your car after you park, it's a totally different feeling. When you take out your keys, you know, you'll be like, keys like that. Alright, go for the A-Class. go for an A250. I always encourage people that this is your budget, aim for something higher and nego to your budget. Alright, don't just settle with the market price. There's no such thing as market price. Okay, and the 2014 A180 isn't worth that price. Okay, Mr. Steven, hi Bobby. Can you do a review on a GLA 250 versus Q3 versus X1? I'm planning to buy a compact SUV. All your choices are not the best compact SUV. The best compact SUV is the XC40 by a mile. The best compact SUV is the XC40 by a long mile. Yeah, let me explain. Okay, it's more spacious than the GLA 250. It's more spacious than the Q3. It's comparable to the X1. It has a higher quality interior than the GLA and the X1. Comparable to the Q3, it has a better seating position than the Q3. It has, actually even compared to the new Q3, the Volvo has a higher quality interior. Yeah, and then it handles better than all of them. And you get wireless charger, you get adaptive cruise control, the car looks beautiful, and it's also the most powerful. So it is better in every measurable criteria than the GLA 250, Q3 or X1. Yeah, there's just no comparison in every single aspect that I can think of. Yeah, I'm not biased. You can go and try it out yourself. So the XC40, actually the XC40 is the only car in Volvo's lineup. Even if you see, in Volvo's lineup, right, most of their cars are better in a way compared to rivals in Malaysia, is because they sell at a lower price with higher spec. Whereas the XC40 is the only car in Volvo's lineup, even if it is selling at the same price, same spec, even though this car is spec higher, even though it's same price and same spec, it is still a better car. Even if all of them has empty specs, it is still a better car because it drives better, it's built better, and it's just a better car. Yeah. Okay. Hi Bobby, what are your thoughts on Mr. Kevin? Sorry. What are your thoughts on doing walnut blasting to remove carbon debris from engine intake? I think it's alright. It's a very, very common process to... It's harmless to your car. Of course, you have to do it with a proper workshop, you know. Malaysia's biggest problem are bad workshops, bad mechanics and bad workshops. Tons of them out there. Horrible industry problem. Alright, can you imagine if Malaysia is full of clinics from doctors without certifications? Yeah, you know, trainees and all that. So that's the biggest problem. So is your engine really that bad? You can the walnut blasting process is actually sort of like remove your top intake manifold and all that. Then they blast it with high pressure air, and then to blast out the carbon, short of a overhaul. That's one method of doing it. Another method is using chemical. Chemical, of course, is not so environmentally friendly. There's also another method that is not so intrusive. See, these methods incur, in terms of walnut blasting and all that, incurs labor, and it also incurs removing some parts and all that. Whereas the other methods like the chemical, which is using your intake to put chemical in and then, you know, run your engine and all that, and then it softens the carbon and then remove it. But then when it comes out, you have your carbon soot. It also has the chemical and all that. So it's not so good for the environment. There's another method which is using hydrogen. Hydrogen blah blah, don't know what is it. Basically, it goes into your combustion chamber and it softens your carbon, and then I mean, they call it carbon cleaning basically, and then it just removes it, or another method to keep your car engine clean. Of course, your engine oil is one thing. The other thing would be once in a while pump V power racing. Yeah. A lot of people has misconceptions between RON ratings and all that, and then people were asking, hey, why is RON 100 cheaper than V Power Racing, whereas V Power Racing is just RON 97, blah blah. V Power Racing has a lot of additives added in, costly additives that will keep your engine clean, really clean. I'll give you an example. My Audi S4, the previous one that I sold, I've always only pumped V Power Racing. There's one time when a friend asked me to go and do carbon cleaning, which is what you are trying to do now. His method is using the hydrogen gas. So we went and did it, and he let the engine run. By right, the exhaust should shoot out some soot and all that, right? The carbon soot and all that, right? My car, almost none came out. And then he looked at me. He was like, "You always pump V Power Racing." I was like, "Yeah, I only pump V Power Racing." So yeah, that's the answer. Yeah, you can do it walnut blasting, no problem. Okay. Hi Bobby, XC90 can carry 4 golf sets at the boot. I presume you don't bring your kids to play golf, or I don't know. Okay, 4 golf sets means you need to fetch ferry 4 person. I don't think there's a problem with the car carrying 4 golf sets though. The boot is huge when you fold down the 3rd row, right? So, provided you're telling me you want the 3rd row up, then of course not lah. But if the 3rd row is down, I don't see a problem with 4 golf sets. I don't play golf, so I do not know how big they are, but I think the car is wide and big. Yep, the boot. I'm sure it won't have an issue with that, but also I can't be sure because I don't play golf. I've never tried putting in 4 golf sets, which I can't imagine it being too big of an issue lah. Okay. Bobby, you should wear mask. See guys, I wear mask. Okay. I'm also very kiasi. But when I do video, I remove my mask. After I did my video, I put my mask back on, right? So you don't see me wearing mask when I'm talking on the video. Doesn't mean I don't wear mask. The reason is that my nose, see, I don't breathe very well. This is how I normally breathe since I was a kid. So if I wear mask, right, and talk while breathing like this, right, it'll make me, I always gasp for air because of my breathing. Yeah. Yeah, I hate that. Very noisy. But once in a while, I don't know when it will happen. Once in a while, it will clear up. Basically, my nostrils inside is very, very sensitive. Very easily, it will swell up and block my breathing. But with medicines like this, it will ease it back. So once in a while, wow, my nose cleared up. It's not from other stuffs there. It's just my flesh swollen up. Okay. Hi Bobby, how is the vibe in Malaysia now with CMCO? It's weird, you know. Now we sort of feel that no more already lah, CMCO, whatever, you know. But we kind of just don't linger out there anymore. You know, we'll go out, do our thing, and quickly come back. Yeah. And in a way, everybody's afraid of everybody. And we still have that. You know, you can meet someone, hey bro, how are you? And then both of you want to shake your hands, and then you just sort of hold it back. Yeah. But a funny thing that day when I collected my laptop with the boss, I was chatting with him. First time we met, and then we talked a lot. You know, the chat was nice. And then when I was about to leave, both of us just very naturally just shook our hands. Immediately after we shook our hands, we both take out sanitizers and so something that was considered very, very rude last time is now a respectable thing to do, right? So for countries with racial issues, you know, in countries like US, right, there are things that if white people do together with black people, or and then they'll get ridiculed, whereas if it's the other way around, then it won't, right? So imagine in US, okay, in Malaysia we are all chill, we can joke about race and all that. We are not sensitive in Malaysia. We can talk about race, we can joke on each other anytime. You can do this to me anytime, you know. Malaysia, we're fine. You know, what was considered offensive in Western countries, they are all very soft, right? Very little thing, they say, oh, I'm offended, social outcry and all that. Imagine a white guy shaking hands with a black guy, and then immediately he take out the sanitizer and do that. People will raise hell in US for that. You know. Anyway, should I be talking that? Yeah, we're fine lah. Malaysians, we Asians are chill with all these things. I don't know. I don't agree or subscribe to this kind of thinking from the Western world. You know, in a way, we Asians will see it as very fake. You know, they act it up, whereas we're just upright, upfront. You know, our Malay friends can joke us Chinese. You Chinese love money. You know. Or we joke at our Indian friends, you're damn stingy lah, cannot get discount from you and all that. It's fine. It's just yeah, we Asians, we can do that anytime. It's funny. Whereas the Westerners, anyway. Hi Bobby, when are you going to review the F-Type? F-Pace, okay. See, the kind of car that you sort of forgot. F-Type is the sports car from Jaguar, right? Yeah. I mean, I can review it anytime. I'll just request and see if Jaguar still has it. Not sure. But it's a Jaguar. It will drive exceptionally well. It will have an exceptionally cheap cabin for its price. The car will look good. The car will sound good, and yeah, these are the common perceptions of you roughly know 60-70% of what a car is before you've driven it. Yeah, I guess so. Hi Bobby, what's your thought on Volvo's speed limiter on their future cars? This is equal to setting a nuclear bomb in their own. Okay lah. This is like dropping a dead weight on your own foot, or taking a gun and shoot your own feet, you know. Because Volvo's idea is to protect human beings in their cars. Okay? So if Volvo cars are the safest, the only way to save more human beings is to sell more cars. Right? That was the understanding that they had back in the previous S60. They realized that their sales has been contracting year and year, every year, and they need to do something to fizz up the brand, to attract more people into buying Volvos so that they get to protect them, right? They give out their seatbelt patent to every single car maker for free, to protect human beings, right? I don't think that's the only thing that they gave out in terms of patents, right? And they have been researching. They put in the most effort in researching on car crashes and all that. All the data that they have in terms of how would a passenger react in what type of car crash, how does the metal compress and all that, what type of accidents are most common. All this research, they give it out for free for other car makers to assess, to study. So their idea is to make sure that when you and I are living our lives, going to places that we wanted to go, we're safe. So that is their goal. So back then they designed their cars sexier. They give them more powerful engines, right? Because they understand that this is the thing that will attract people to the brand, so that when they buy Volvos, Volvo gets to protect them. And of course, they have been experiencing an exceptional growth in the past 7-8 years after Geely bought over them, gave them the investment they needed to make the kind of cars they've not been able to do under Ford ownership. And it has completely rejuvenated the brand. Their cars look absolutely beautiful now, and they drive well, good technology and all that. They are on their way to protect more human beings by having such a safe car that they have built. And now all of a sudden, just because the CEO blurted and said that, oh, I have this goal, and he wanted their cars to be speed limited to 180 km/h, this will greatly hurt their sales. Trust me, especially Germany, Austria, countries that are near Germany in any way, countries who love speed. This will greatly affect their sales, because people who buy Volvos are not kids, they are not fresh grads, they are not young juvenile adolescents and all that. These are well-educated people, doctors, lawyers, blah blah, professionals and all that, right? They're not kids. They don't need to be told what they can or cannot do. And when you knowingly buy a car, even though mature adults, we seldom drive that fast, 180 km/h, but we just don't like the idea that if one day I might just need to chase somebody, or I was being chased by somebody, I cannot drive faster than 180 km/h. You know, the kind of mindset that we have. So this is just shooting themselves in the foot. Not a good decision. A very caring decision, but not a good strategic decision in a way. Alright? Okay. Hi Bobby, can you talk more about the C43 in your next video? What should I talk about? It's one of my favorite Mercedes Benzes. It is the greatest 3-liter turbocharged engine out there, by means of not just performance, response, and fuel consumption. The thing that surprises me the most in the C43 is the fuel consumption. How do they do it? Right? It punches 367 horsepower. In the pre-facelift version, God knows what power it pumps now in the facelift version. I have no idea. 380? I don't know. It pumps up so much power. It sounds wonderful. This engine sounds wonderful, the way it revs. And the fuel consumption is just amazing. Amazing. Remember, we filled up the car before Penang, and then we drove all the way to Hat Yai. and when we were doing our Cars of Malaysia drive, where we drove one round around Malaysia, this car just amazed everybody with the sound, the excitement, the power, and the fuel consumption. Of course, the pre-facelift C43's Sport Plus mode is undrivable when you're in low speeds, or when you're just imagine you were driving, right, and then you met someone taunting you, okay, while you're driving, and then you go into Sport Plus mode. You were doing all that, and then you're driving fast, having some enjoyable drive, and then you come to a traffic stop. You're in front of 2 cars, you're still in your Sport Plus mode, and then the lights turn green, the 2 cars in front slowly roll off, you also follow their speed, and then your car was doing this. Yeah, it does that. The pre-facelift version does that in Sport Plus mode. So remember, if you're in Sport Plus mode, when you come to a halt, remember to turn it back to normal, because it will greatly embarrass you. As if your car broke down. Yeah, Sport Plus mode in the pre-facelift C43 does that. And I'm the only journalist who will tell you that. Seriously, I've never watched another review that tells you that, even in UK or wherever. But it does that pre-facelift version. Anyway, hi Bobby, is the A5 facelift 2013-14 Coupe a good buy? It's an alright buy, I would say. Or will you go for a Lexus IS250? Now, what price point are you talking about? Because 2014 Audi A5. Oh, sorry. Sportback. 100k. It is still about 100k. So, if you're considering between the A5 and the IS250, right, means you're okay with both, right? Maybe you should go for the IS250. It's rarer. It will be 10,000 times more reliable, and it's just more special. Maybe there are less of them out there, and of course the interior build is way better. Infotainment system is just like any Lexus crap. But the A5, oh, you're asking a coupe? A5 coupe. I really like the A5 coupe. You know, it's a handsome car. But what price are we talking about? Audi A5, which is sort of about the same price as well, 120,000. Still a very good looking car. It drives wonderfully. Engine is good, strong. I think you get more excitement because of the power of the car compared to the Lexus IS. But the Lexus IS will be, you get to feel more premium, I guess. Yeah. Both are great cars. You can go for it. Alright. Hi Bobby. Finally you use a case for your phone. So, previously, I don't use case. Right. That's my phone, and I put the ring directly on my phone, because since I start using the ring, I no longer drop my phone. And if I don't drop my phone, why would I want a heavy and a fat case on my phone? But that other day, I was trying to move the ring. I go and peel it off, right? Now the ring is not as sticky as before, so I don't have full confidence of it not detaching itself. So I put the ring on the casing, and if I was thinking, if I put it like that, if the ring drops, I still have the case to protect my phone. So now I'm just waiting for the shops and all that to open up so I can get another ring, then I'll just stick it to my phone. So I don't like using phone cases. I mean, I use phone cases until I realize I no longer drop them with the ring. So why do I bother if I absolutely will not drop my phone? Why do I bother? Right? Yeah. So yeah, you won't see my phone in a case for long, Mr. Dominic. Mr. Simon, hi Bobby, I'm waiting for the GTA video. I will one day when I'm free. Okay, I will play it in full crazy max out mode. Okay. Hi Bobby, tell the story of your grandparents. Yeah, I would. Would you guys want to know? Hi Bobby, did you encounter any aircon problems with your S4? None. I'm driving an A5, and oh, actually once when I was heading to Singapore, no, I was heading to Penang. That was many years ago, 2013 or something. All of a sudden my aircon wasn't cold, And then when I got back, I serviced my aircon. That was when I also changed the oil in my aircon compressor. Right, so even your aircon compressor, you can service it. You can change the oil in your aircon compressor. So I serviced that as well, serviced my aircon, and it has been absolutely perfect. Until the day I sold my car, my aircon is still definitely colder than any Proton aircon. I can guarantee that. Alright. Yep. Hi Bobby, is the X3 M40i available in Malaysia? No. Because if it were, it would be about the price of 500 something, maybe close to even 600,000, and then it won't sell, and there's no point. And then the grey import guys will bring in, and then they won't sell as well because people will be buying makan. Yeah. Okay. Hi Bobby, I recently saw the news of the Harrier 2021. Say if this exact unit comes to Malaysian market, what is your comment in comparing side by side with other SUVs, namely GLC 300, XC60 and NX300? Putting the price range aside, I have no idea on how the new Harrier would be because it's not here yet. But even when I'm comparing the current Harrier with the rest, what I can tell you is that the Harrier is the most comfortable, is absolutely spacious, and I actually prefer the Harrier's dashboard over the sibling NX, Lexus NX dashboard. Alright, the Harrier dashboard is to me more classy and nicer. And then when it comes to the drive, it is in no way comparable to the XC60 or the GLC 300. No way comparable. It's not. It's like comparing a. I cannot use Camry versus 3 Series anymore because the new Camry handles so well. It's like back then when you compare a Camry versus a 3 Series. You know, the car is just comfortable. It drives well, decent. You know, but it's not a sports handling SUV. But it's not a clumsy SUV either, but it's just not a sports handling SUV. It's just a very nice looking, big, comfortable, spacious, well built SUV. Your rear passengers would prefer the Harrier or the NX300 over the XC60 or the GLC 300, and soundproofing was rather alright. It's, of course, soundproofing, the NX is slightly better. And then of course the infotainment is crap because it's not a premium car. They don't have a integrated sort of infotainment system, and presumably it will last until the year 3021. It's a Toyota. Anyway, hi Bobby, I'm changing my tires tomorrow. Should I go with MC6 or PS4? If both are within your budget, of course the PS4 actually slightly outperforms the MC6, especially when it comes to wet. But the MC6 in terms of the price, because the MC6 is definitely cheaper than the PS4, so it makes itself very, very relevant because the performance difference of the two of them is smaller than the price difference than the two of them. So but if you can afford, alright, you'll be perfectly fine with the MC6, but I don't think it's as quiet as the PS4. And in terms of wet surfaces, the PS4 outperforms the MC6 according to a lot of testimonials, but of course you pay a premium for that. Alright, blah 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 blah. Hi Bobby, I'm interested, Mr. Thomas, I'm interested in the Lexus IS250. The F-Sport looks so good. Yes. 140,000 for a 2015 car, is that a good buy? As a BMW 320i from the same year is selling below 100k, the 40k difference are worth the long-term reliability? Even non F-Sport IS250 is about 120,000. Now, Mr. Thomas, of course, Lexus enjoys rather good resale value comparatively. Is of course one thing is the reliability, but something that affects it even more is because it is rare. There's less of them out there, less people are looking for them, less people are selling them. That's why the market value holds better than a ubiquitous 320i that is everywhere. I think you can go for it. You can go for it, but even though they advertise 140,000 for a 2015 car, walk up there and offer 120. Try. Yeah, try. There's no such thing as market value again. And on average, a Lexus owner will be richer than a BMW owner, especially a 3 Series versus IS250. Alright, I don't have facts and figures for this, but I can 100% guarantee I'm correct. Alright, a lot of 3 Series buyer are first time luxury car owners who tried their best to buy 3 Series. It's like someone like me, you know, pushing our limits, whereas a Lexus owner are those who they can buy a Lexus IS250. So a lot of them would have fully paid off their car, and then when the dealer offer them 100k, they will, oh okay, take it. Whereas another one would be, 100 but I still owe the bank 110 no. Can we do 110? You know, so that means dealers will be able to bargain better when they buy a Lexus off the owner, which also means that you can haggle better in a way. All of those facts are non-facts. I made them up. Alright. Just on my assumption. Okay. Hi Bobby, what's your thought on Flux? I think it's a Flux. It's an interesting concept, to be honest, where you pay a subscription fee and then you can change cars, but you need to pay when you change cars, you know, and I just don't see it. It still don't give me that feeling that I'm owning a car, right, by means of being able to change it, of knowing someone would have driven it earlier on, but then I'm still paying a rather premium on the car, even though I can drive it for a long time. But still, there will be a lot of limitations. You can't drive into Singapore, that's one. So the true innovative concept in terms of these, right, would be as if you really own the car. It's just like the leasing programs in UK or US, you know. You really own the car, you can modify the car whatsoever, but you just have some mileage, you know, limitation or top up when you sell the car back, or when you return the car after 3 years or 4 years. And these are just, I would call it like a glorified car rental in a way. Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, hi Bobby, my dream car is the E60 M5. Buy. Yes, I'm aware of the notorious reliability issues of the SMG and S85 engine. However, I can't get the sound off my mind. Do you think I should take the risk? Yes. Now, I have a friend who daily drives his M6 V10 as well, and he would tell you otherwise. He daily drives his M6. So, it's about regularly maintaining your car, taking care of your car. No engines will blow up for no reason if it is well taken care of, you know. And if something breaks or blow up, whatever, it's definitely the fault of your mechanic. Alright, so if let's say you buy an E60 M5 that is well taken care of, and you continue to take care of it really well, check everything, you know, like you see a little bit of engine oil leak, immediately you tell the workshop, okay, just change the gaskets, you know, give it a simple top overhaul, and then change back the oils and all that, and your engine will be fine. But if you ignore it, and then your engine is choking on not enough engine oil, that's when other problems will occur, right? And if you look at your timing belt, what's the mileage? Let's say the timing belt was changed at this mileage, and the timing belt has a lifespan of, let's say, 60,000 km, and then you change your timing belt when you're at 50,000 km. Do you think you will run into problem? Most of the times are when people are trying to skimp on service. That everything has a rated lifespan. Like this thing has 60,000 km. Most people think, or those mechanics, you know, hey, don't worry lah, still okay, still can be used. What do you mean don't worry lah? If the timing belt is rated at 60,000 km and now I'm at 60,000 km, my mechanic should tell me to change it, right? If the mechanic tells you, hey, don't worry lah, can use one lah, actually it's 60,000 km but 70 also okay one, that's when trouble happens, right? You believe one simple sentence that he blurted out as if he's smarter and better than the thousands of German engineers, then you ask for it, right? And of course for him, he will say, still can use what? But when your car breaks down, who earns the money? It's him, right? He may seem like he's trying to help you save money, but actually that will just... So everything has a lifespan, right? Like I give you my case. I was driving my 6 Series and then I experienced a little bit of a judder when I was going full throttle, and I know what it was. I know a misfire happened, and then the car, ding, as German cars, they sense one small misfire, they will deactivate that cylinder to protect the components in that cylinder. That means that cylinder is out of commission. They don't send power to the coil packs and it no longer fires spark plug. The cylinder is just moving along, and then the car will tell you engine malfunction. Crap. So scary. The message says engine malfunction, you know. So if you are not sure what happened, you bring your car to a workshop and say, fuck man, my car's engine malfunction. If next day he tells you, oh, you need to overhaul your engine, what can you do? The mechanic said so, right? You have to overhaul your engine, even though it's just a misfire. How can you prove him wrong, right? And then you ask him, how much is the overhaul? Oh, nah, don't worry, I can do it in about 11,000. How do you prove him otherwise? And then, fuck you, Bobby, ask me to buy BMW. You know, my BMW, you know, I just bought it. It's a 4-year-old car. I shouldn't have bought a used car lah. Now I have to overhaul. How sure are you that's the true case? Right? A lot of these things happening out there. I tell you all, tons of it happening out there. All right. So good mechanics are very, very important. Those mechanics that looks like they are cheap to go in just because their shop looks like crap. I don't know, man. Coming back to my story. So I stopped my car. I know what happened. The car detected a misfire. Then it shut off the cylinder. That's why it shook a little bit. And then the malfunction message came out. I slowly roll my car to the petrol station. I mean, I still drive it because I know what happened already. I still drive slowly, smoothly to a petrol station. And then I stop my car there. And then I switch off the engine. I lock the car. I wait for 10-15 minutes. Because after you lock your car, you wait for 10-15 minutes, the car will reset itself. So what does the reset does? What does it mean? Because the car detected a misfire. So how did the misfire happen? See, these are physical things. The coil pack is putting electrical power to the spark plug. The spark plug will spark. And then as your piston comes up, your air-fuel mixture is done there, and then it sparks and boom, right? So when you are doing a full acceleration, suddenly it needs to work like that. Maybe the spark plug has some carbon deposit or whatever, just blocking it just at that time, and then the spark wasn't timed perfectly, and the car detected it wasn't timed perfectly. It may cause damage, because if you combust at the wrong timing, it may push the piston in a different way or something. You know, you don't want it to be knocking on your valves and all that. So the car will disable that cylinder, keep a lock code inside the ECU, and then you can drive smoothly without that cylinder firing. But I found a place to stop safely. I lock the car, switch off the car, let it reset itself, and then after that, when I start the car, the error message is no longer there. I know that the car is now firing all 6 cylinders, but I refuse to go full acceleration anymore because I'm not sure if it will happen again. But if you're on a low rev range, the sparks can be timed properly, and then I just drive smoothly home. The next morning I drive smoothly to my workshop. I told them, can you plug in the diagnostic, right? So they plug in the diagnostic, and then the computer shows cylinder 3 misfire. So the car has detected cylinder 3 misfire. It switch off cylinder 3. It keeps a lock code in there, and then the mechanic now knows that cylinder 3 misfire. They open it up. By right, cylinder 3 misfire means you might need to change your spark plug. It's old already. Now, do you just change the spark plug of cylinder 3? If you are on a cost saving measure, you just change spark plug cylinder 3. Maybe next week cylinder 4 spark plug might go, right? How much are spark plugs? 80 ringgit each. How many cylinders you have? Most cars 4 cylinders, right? 320, 320i, 328i, they're all 4 cylinders. My 640i 6 cylinders. So 6 cylinders, 80 ringgit, 480 ringgit. That's for the spark plugs. Maybe there's a labor 100, 150. Alright. Another thing is, I asked the mechanic, my coil packs, right? I don't think they have been changed before, because when I got the car, I didn't change the coil packs. So then he was like, okay, if you haven't changed your coil pack, it's about time, because that time my car is about 7 years old. Okay, change the coil packs. How much are the coil packs? 110 ringgit each. How many cylinders? 6, 660. So my total bill, 1,002. Is it fair? Fair. Can I do it cheaper? Yes. If I just change the spark plug, it's only 80 ringgit. With a labor, maybe 100 ringgit, maybe 60 ringgit. I'm not sure what's the labor. So it's how you take care of your car. So for me, 1,000 plus is manageable, reasonable. I change it. Yeah, so I think most E60 M5s are being taken care of people who knows how to take care of their car, I believe, because of the road tax. These are not simple, normal people. So I think you can go for it. Just get it checked, make sure everything is alright, is in the best condition it is, and keep it that way. Yeah, and then I will envy you for the sound of your engine. Alright, get the E60 M5, lovely. Mr. Kenny Tang, hi Bobby, how was your experience with your S640i? Fantastic, it's a reliable car, very, very reliable. And for those of you who say, oh, European cars, so mechanics who say European cars so many sensors, you know, or other owners, the sensors help you to detect what went wrong. Then it tells you. Okay. Throughout your ownership of the beauty, is there any major thing that you need to worry about? Nothing. Just worrying about the potential time bomb. Nope, there's no time bomb. The 640i is reliable, it's fantastic. It is a brilliant, brilliant car. It is reliable, comfortable, and a fantastic car. Low maintenance, low fuel consumption compared to my 3-liter Audi. Yeah, go for it, bro. Mr. Kenny Tang, bye. Fantastic. Hi Bobby, Toyota 86 or Nissan 350Z? Oh, I always get this question. Yeah. 10 turnership, 100k for a car and road tax. What would you choose? I would still pick the 86 because it drives better, but I would really hope if there is an 86 with a 350Z engine. Yeah, so the 86 drives fantastically. It's just that I wish it has more power, huh? Even if it has the Civic Type R engine, not the current, the FD2R 2-liter. The FD2R 2-liter just has more character when it pulls, you know. Even both are rated at 200 horsepower, but the FD2R's engine just sounds better. The way it pulls, the characteristics of the engine is just nicer. Whereas the 86 engine is just, it's a nice boxer engine, but it's just okay, okay. But it's a fantastic car. Yeah, the 86. All right. Hi Bobby, is the GLC 200 worth buying? Are you talking about used? If you're used, go for the 250 because the 200 doesn't even have keyless entry. If you're talking about new, then it will be the oldest car in this segment. So both new or used, no. If you're buying a used car, go for the 250. The specs are much better, and if your budget is for the 200, you offer the same budget, but you tell yourself you want a 250, you will get it eventually. Yeah, just don't accept the 200 at its price point. Yeah, and if it's new, then I think the X3 is a better car. Yeah, much better car. Someone is saying that Singaporeans are more daring when it comes to colorful interiors. Good for you. Malaysians are like black, 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 black. Hi Bobby, why is the Infiniti car brand not as strong as Lexus? I hardly see anyone buying Infiniti compared to Lexus. Is it because of marketing? No, it's because Carlos Ghosn is an accountant. He is a piece of shit CEO. Yes, he has saved Nissan back in 2003, 2004, but after that, he barely did much for Nissan. In fact, he drives the brand to what it is today. You know, not exciting, just having a GTR there, and then hardly doing anything groundbreaking, and the model lineups are just so convoluted. You don't even know what car exists where and what name is where and what is it. You know, a Sylphy can be this car in this country, a Sylphy can be another car in this country, an Almera may be a Sylphy in one country, and then it's a Sentra in another country. It's just horrible mess. And Infiniti had a chance when Andy Palmer was the boss. He wanted to spice up Infiniti brand by putting the Nissan GTR engine into a Q50 and launching a performance brand called Eau Rouge. That was a chance that Infiniti sort of had when they did the Q50, but then it was killed off by Ghosn, and then Andy Palmer left and joined Aston Martin. So Infiniti, even though it is the first Japanese luxury car brand, is earlier than Lexus, but it wasn't given that much resource or respect within the organization to be what it is. So now the whole Infiniti lineup are full of cars derived from the 370Z platform, right? The FX, the EX. Every single car is from the 370Z platform. Horrible. And most are old cars, old platforms and all that. Yeah. Hi Bobby, is it fair to say that most of us drivers don't know how to drive with the DSG or CVT gearbox? We tend to hold in drive while waiting in bumper to bumper traffic. This is why the wear rate is high compared to automatic transmission. I'm not sure about this statement though. Traditional torque converters, right? Their interface is liquid. It's not clutch plates. So when you're idling, it's just one turbine turning the liquid, a lot of liquid, and then it's just liquid there. The other turbine wasn't sort of freewheeling in a way, and the interface is actually liquid, which is oil. So when it's mechanical linkage, it's of course faster. It can do things that the traditional torque converter couldn't, but then yeah, it's just more metal to metal. I don't know, man. my S4 is a DSG in a way, and I never shift to neutral when I'm driving, and maybe inherently these gearboxes are just more complex, and then they just don't last as well. But nowadays with the ZF 8-speed, it has rendered every single other form of transmission irrelevant in a way. Apart from Mazda's Sky Active transmission, others are just irrelevant when compared to the 8-speed ZF. It shifts fast, it's bulletproof. This gearbox never goes wrong. Yeah. Anyway, Mr. Leroy, good morning. Bobby, my grandfather, how do you know it's morning? My grandfather has a pre-facelift W212 E250. I'm thinking of to get a coupe, budget around 60 to 90k, and I'm considering a B8 A5 Coupe and having it stage 1 tune. As far as I know, it shares the similar engine with MK6 blah 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 blah. I drove a A5 Sportback loaner and encountered air conditioning and engine oil issues. I don't know, but if I get one in Malaysia and have it sorted out, will it be reliable for day-to-day usage without much problem? My budget includes fixing up the car. I've also considered the B8 S4, but would prefer a car that would feel safe to leave it to my brother cousins when they want to use it when they visit. Therefore, I think the power of 2 litre is adequate for everyone and not too much power for some. If you have other cars in mind, I would love to hear from your opinion. And then another guy replied about the engine oil consumption issues, and then talking about the A5 3.2. No point getting the A5 3.2. You're paying 3.2 road tax for an engine that is lovely, but it's not as lovely as paying less road tax on the S5 3 litre. Let's put it this way, Leroy. If you want to buy a 2 litre and stage 1 it, 90% of the time it can perform just as well as an S4 or S5. So in terms of the engine block reliability, the 3 litre is definitely more reliable than the 2 litre. But of course, that era's Audi was so popular, so many recon dealers brought them in, and their price point has dropped to, you see now your price range is 60-90,000. That means a while ago they are 120 to 130,000, and these cars are sexy as fuck. So there are a lot of people who, the previous hand owners, a lot of them are people who actually cannot afford to take care of these cars. They are used to spending 120, 130,000 with a Civic or a Corolla, and then they spend the same budget to get a used Audi, and they just couldn't accept, let's say, oh, I have this issue, how much? 1,008, okay, get it fixed. Or I have this issue, how much? 800, okay, get it fixed. They couldn't accept it. You know, they are from the new car buyers. They just couldn't brain paying people 600-700 ringgit to fix something. You know, to them it's just oil change. That's the highest they're willing to pay for the cars. So a lot of ill-maintained cars out there. So I think your choices are perfectly alright, but get it checked. Alright, even if it's the pre-facelift version, which is around the budget that you're looking at, a lot of owners have already done the engine oil consumption overhaul, piston ring change. Alright, so I would say, oh, you have a long discussion there. I would say, Mr. Leroy, go for the S model. The 3 litre supercharged engine is much more reliable. I mean, a well-maintained one, okay? But of course, if you found a well-maintained 2 litre that has already done the engine oil consumption issue kind of fix, should be alright. And in terms of aircon problem, the owner did not maintain his aircon. You know, I experienced my aircon not being cold back in 2013, and then I serviced my aircon. I changed my aircon compressor oil, get it you know, get it really serviced up. It works perfectly until the day I sold it early this year. Alright, so yeah, go for it. Hi Bobby, what about a sleeper car, 4-door sedan, 50 to 80,000? 50 to 80,000, you can afford the M5 E60 V10 5-liter, which is sleeper as fuck. Would you want to get one? That car is a sleeper. Nobody knows it has 500 horsepower. Bro. Let me jokingly reply you. I'm 80k, you can... Okay. Let's find an M5 for him. BMW M5. And then sort by price. Let's find you an M5. Okay, this one has a better picture. 50,000 mileage, 500 horsepower, beautiful car. Sorry, the video was too long. This is an absolute sleeper. Nobody would know it has 500 horsepower and it is within your budget. And this car will appreciate in the next 3 years and will go up in value, which means all the road tax you're paying for it will be worth it by then. Yeah, the E60 M5 will go up in value. I can put my head on the chopping board to guarantee that it will go up in value. 70-80k now is undervalued. Hi Bobby, need your advice on the 2015 BMW X3 M40i. Is it worth buying in terms of maintenance? Maintenance is very low and is worth buying and is a lovely car to buy. Buy, Mr. Koo Tiong Teo. Buy. Lovely, low maintenance and damn nice to drive. Reliable too. $10-year-old RS4, I would buy a 10-year-old 200,000 M3, but would gladly buy a 10-year 200k M5 if I can afford it. Oh, that's not a question, it's a statement. Hi Bobby, seeking your advice on a Fiat Bravo 1.4 multi-air T-Jet panoramic roof model. I've heard that the automatic celestial gearbox is not very reliable. Lovely car, but would be very difficult to get parts. Seriously. Yep, that's all I can say on the Fiat Bravo, because Fiat died in Malaysia. There are no representatives anymore, and very few parts supplier would carry parts, and then you have to order all the way from Europe. And even then it's hard to get parts because this car has been discontinued. It's not a car with cult following, so you won't be able to find an ecosystem around this car. Hi Bobby, my wife is planning, Mr. Jerry, my wife is planning to buy a used 2014 Mercedes E250. Good for her. For 140,000, or should I get a 2016 facelift 320i? You should get the 2016 320i because the infotainment system is recent and very nice. I would presume your wife would appreciate playing Spotify over the BMW iDrive system, whereas the old Mercedes infotainment system is rather crap. And I think the 320i, even though its soundproofing is not as good as the E-Class, but it drives better, easier to park, and a more comfortable suspension. Yeah, the facelift F30 has a great suspension. Yeah, your wife should get the 320i. Hi Bobby, what do you think of V90 T5 selling for 220,000, 2017? Nego the price? Because very few people are as tasteful as you, Mr. Gary Pung. The car handles really well. And if you're planning to use the car for a long term, because you're talking about replacement parts after warranty, the wagon in long term, long term. By the short term, a wagon will depreciate, especially a Volvo wagon will depreciate, but then in the long term, let's say 10-year-old, your wagon will be worth more than the other sedans that you're looking at. Yeah, because it's a wagon. Hi Bobby, is it worth upgrading from a 2018 330e to a 2019 A5 Sportback? Currently priced at 300k. So he's concerned with the used car value of the 330e, but it has depreciated so much. The further depreciation will not be lesser, no, will be lesser than the depreciation of a brand new 300k Audi A5 Sportback, right? So if you are afraid of depreciation, I would recommend you to spend your 300k on an Audi RS6, which will depreciate slower than a 2019 Audi A5 Sportback. But then you have to take the 8,000 ringgit, 6,000 ringgit road tax. But you will definitely depreciate slower. So you have 300k, you can buy a used, very used Audi RS6 or a brand new Audi A5 Sportback. And then if you're worried about depreciation, your A5 Sportback will depreciate much faster than an RS6 would. But granted, your car will be brand new, it will be very reliable, there won't be any issues, you know. And it's so nice, the new A5. Yeah, I mean, if it's within your budget, you can go for it, man. And it drives really well. Go for it. But I think you can get some better deals, right? Rather than buying a, let me see. Holy moly, bro. Your budget, if you don't buy new, you can buy a Recon Audi S5 Sportback. That would depreciate really slow compared to your A5 Sportback. Same price point. I'm looking at 308,000 Audi S5 Sportback. Yeah, that would hold its value way better than an A5 Sportback. Mr. Ching Yao Feng. Yeah. Let me edit my comment. Oh wait. Audi S5 Sportback Recon is also the same price, and that will even depreciate much slower than your 300k A5 Sportback. Alright. Hi Bobby, I'm thinking of getting a ML350. Ooh, Mercedes ML350. The ML350 received a heavy facelift back in 2012. So a 2014 ML350, dealers are still asking 200k, but a 2011 pre-facelift one is only 90k. So if you're getting the 90k one, I would say go for it. But if you're getting the 200k one, I would say let's consider it, because 2.5 years apart is 100k of depreciation. You're on your way there, you know. And for me, SUV of that segment for that year, I would go for a Q7 3-liter turbo, the supercharged engine, reliable engine. And the Q7 to me looks better, has a nicer interior than the ML, and it drives better than the ML. Alright, yeah. I think I'm done. Hi Bobby, what are your thoughts on the 2.3-liter Ford Mustang? Buy. Yeah, it's not a V8, but then the Ford 5-liter V8 stock exhaust is rather crap. And road tax is so high, and it's not a lot faster than the 2.3 turbo. So get the 2.3 turbo, tune it. Get it, tune it, change the exhaust, wrap it. And the road tax is only for a 2.3 car. Alright, Mr. Alex KRYCEK, please PM us on Facebook. I need to send something to you, to give you something. I don't know, I'm gonna find a gift and send it to you. Please, Mr. Alex KRYCEK, you have been giving the timer mark on every one of my videos, and thank you so much for helping everybody, because I just don't know how to go through this. You are amazing. You are an amazing person. Yeah. How do I copy what you wrote here? Can I copy what you wrote and then put it in my description so that it helps everybody every time after you did it? Am I stealing content from you? Because this is just amazing lah, what you did. Right here, boom. Time stamp from Alex KRYCEK is below. Thank you, bro. Yeah, I'm gonna do that from now onwards. I see your timestamp, I'm gonna copy it down there and I say contribution from Alex KRYCEK. Alright guys, I'm done with my Q&A. Thank you so much for watching. If it is your first time, I do daily Q&As if there are as many questions as this. And if it's your first time in my channel, I have more than 1,000 car reviews over the past 3 years. Alright, thank you again. Thanks for watching. Cheers.
Ladies and gentlemen. Darling.